Hello everyone, welcome to the course Reading and Writing. In today's session we are going to learn punctuation in English. So in writing we can use punctuation marks to emphasize, clarify what we mean. Meanwhile, in speaking we can make a pause, stop, change our tone of voice. That's why in writing we make use of punctuation marks as signals to our readers. The full stop is used at the end of a complete statement or utterance which is neither an exclamation nor a question. For example, he saw a UFO among the trees. He asked me if I had seen it. Yes, a UFO. The full stop is used after abbreviations. For example, BA, Bachelor of Arts, EG, exemplary criteria. For example, NB, nota bene, not well. Note, it is often the practice to omit the full stop if the last letter of the abbreviated word is given. For example, Mr. Dr. or full stop. The full stop is the most important of the punctuation marks. Its omission, when its use is undeniably required, will confuse the reader. Ideas will be mixed up and the meaning intended by the writer will not be probably communicated to the reader. And if we talk about the comma, it is a punctuation mark that indicates a pause is needed in a sentence. It separates the structural elements of sentences into manageable segments. Commas are both an aid to sense and to ease of reading. They are sometimes used in long sentences to break up words into sections where the sense allows a pause to be taken. It's better to underuse them than to overuse them. The comma are frequently overused. It's as well always considered effect on the sense and construction of a sentence that their inclusion or omission would have. Consider the following. For example, I saw my friend John. I saw my friend John. And their meaning is different. The first sentence implies that I have several friends, but the one that I saw was Tom. The omission of comma allows Tom to define which friend it was that I saw. The second sentence may imply that I have only one friend and that his name happens to be Tom. The inclusion of the comma allows the word Tom merely to qualify the word friend. It might also mean that the speaker is addressing Tom when he or she says, I saw my friend. Conventional uses of the comma. First, to separate two descriptions set side by side of the same object or person. The second of the two descriptions adds to the meaning of the first and is parallel to it. Technically, the second statement is said to be in opposition to the first. For example, Mr. Brown, the grocer, sells butter. And second one is in order to separate the items or elements in a list. At the grocer's, I bought some eggs, bacon, sugar, tea, and biscuits. Note, some writers wouldn't insert the comma before the final n, but others would argue that because it separates tea from biscuits as elements in a list, it should be there. Look, however, at the final comma in the following list where it is essential. For breakfast, I ate some cereals, toast, and eggs and bacon. The final pair of items here, eggs and bacon, may be seen as a single element. To have omitted the comma after toast would have obscured the sense by running toast and eggs and bacon together. Third one is in order to make of the name or title of a person being addressed. For example, Mr. Smith, what is the trouble? I would much rather, James, you told me the truth. Doctor, I have had a pain in my back for quite a time. Fourth use of the comma is following introductory words which introduce direct speech or a direct question. For example, he said, I know that I shouldn't have said that. The policeman asked, why did you hesitate? And fifth use of the comma, to separate short clauses which list actions, events, and so on. For example, the man rose, left the room, slammed the door, and made his way into the street. Next use of the comma is in order to indicate a statement interpolated within a sentence. Commas here effectively bracket of the interpolation. For example, it was obvious, all things considered, that he had done the wrong thing. And next use of comma. In order to separate or mark off a phrase which stands apart from the rest of a sentence. For example, the decision taken, there was no going back. And in order to indicate where the words have been deliberately omitted but need to be understood. For example, the professor could pursue his own ideas. I, mine. And in order to mark off a series of statements in the same sentence. For example, he knew what he had to do, where he had to go, and when he should take the next step. And in order to mark off a statement which qualifies the meaning of a word, the omission of the comma here would alter the sense by changing the qualification into a clear definition. He stumbled into the house which was his home. This implies that there was only one house and this house happened to be his home. Use commas wherever you think they are necessary to prevent possible confusion or misreading. The comma in a compound sentence is placed before the coordinating conjunction. Andy built a sand castle and Joe played with his dog. You can see it is subject, verb, and conjunction. Andy built a sand castle and Joe played with his dog. Subject, verb. And when a dependent clause is located after an independent clause, don't place a comma between the two. For example, Augustine is a good team, but Natation is better. You can see there is no comma. I became very sick when the roller coaster zoomed upside down. You can see there is no comma again, and there is just clause. And semicolon. Semicolon marks off one part of sentence from another much more sharply than a comma. It is particularly useful to divide a long sentence into self-contained sections. The semicolon is used to separate a series of complex statements which nevertheless belong to a longer whole statement. For example, he was ill, he now knew it, he would go to the doctor's. Note, the semicolons here give to the three short statements a dramatic note which wouldn't be present if the first were replaced by a comma and the second by a conjunction, such as and, indeed, to change the statement. In this way, would weaken it so much that it would become almost meaningless. Thanks for your attention. You have more information about the use of punctuation in English. If you have any question, you can ask me in Telegram group and you can mail to me.